Everyone. Welcome to Gentle Restorative Yoga. I'm Kathy Zerler. Our host is Deborah Basham, and we are ready to begin a yoga practice that's for you. So remember, as we start and go through this, you are your own best teacher. You do the right things for yourself. Take your cues from me. But if there's anything that I suggest that you think you have a better, safer, less ouchy place to go for yourself right now, this moment, then go there. So let's begin sitting nice and tall, making space between the vertebrae. Inhaling and exhaling. Slower and deeper. Breathing as we move. Always filling ourselves up with healing oxygen. And making a conscious effort to exhale more than we inhale. Let's begin now with a warm-up that starts at the top. Let's turn our heads from side to side, warming up the neck, moving as slowly as a snail or a turtle. As you watch what you're doing in your mind's eye. The next time you come to one side, go up to your range of motion and hold it there and sit tall. Hold it and sit tall. Breathe back to center. Turn the other way, up to your range of motion on that side, and it might be a little different. We're not perfectly symmetrical. Breathe into the hold. Breathe back to center. Turn the other way. So when we do our holding poses today, understand that it's tempting to hold our breath when we're holding a pose, but we need to continue sending oxygen into our bloodstream, good, energetic, oxygenated energy, breathe back to center, that we need. Last time in the other direction, sitting tall. Breathe back to center. Tuck the chin now. Let the back of your neck straighten out. Let your chin just tuck toward the chest. Bring it up. Come back to a tall seat. And draw a circle now in front of your face with your nose. Breathing as you rotate the neck gently. Sometimes in a seated pose or even in a standing pose, it's useful to close your eyes and better view what's going on without any distractions of what's around you, but within you, you are paying attention. Come back to center. Turn your head the opposite direction. Draw that circle in the opposite direction. Breathing, noticing the neck range of motion. Often we can hear little things loosening up as we move and warm up. Let's lengthen again and roll our shoulders. Up toward the ears like a turtle in a shell, and then back, squeezing the scapula a little bit. Everything mindful so that you go up to the range of motion slowly enough that you can stop when you get there and avoid any type of injury. Even sometimes the smallest movement can make something click out of place, out of balance. And when we move mindfully, one more time, hold the shoulders back, bring your arms behind you, fold your hands, let your arms come away so that we are really sitting tall and our shoulders are engaged. And you're feeling good in this warm up. Let's release now and bring our arms out to parallel, small movements, pat the air, sitting up tall. Stop, turn the palms up, small movements, lift the air. So we're moving through the shoulders, through the elbows, through the fingers. Our arms are moving, but the core, the torso, and especially the shoulders right now are doing the work. So we are moving from the inside out, watching what we're doing with our mind's eye. And this is mindfulness, a word that perhaps is overused today, but so true. Move, work, focus, which is another way to say mindfulness, on what you are doing. Bring the arms now up overhead. Fold your hands, turn your palms up toward the ceiling and lengthen. The spine is long. There's space all around it. Notice that. Soften here. Put your hands together and come down into prayer pose. Allow the sides of your thumbs to apply gentle pressure to the xiphoid process, right in the center of your chest, and let your arms relax against your ribs. Take a moment now for yourself. A quiet moment. That's happy baby looking out the window. And set an intention for your practice today. Take a moment. Bring your arms up, overhead, and release that good energy into goal pose. And gently, no, get back. Well, now you got to see the dog you just heard barking. Up and down, small movements in goal pose. Still working the shoulders, still sitting tall, feeling that engagement in the shoulder blades. And stop. Bring your arms down, small movements up and down, like a scarecrow. And then swing the arms, moving the elbows. And this is it for that part of our warm-up. Let's move now to our hands and knees for the cat table cow. So we start at the table. Arms are straight down from the shoulders, knees are straight down from the hips. Tuck the chin for the cat stretch and arch your back like a fraidy cat. Release to the table. Sway your belly toward the floor in the cow. Sway back to the table. Notice what your abdominal core is doing as you arch up into the cat stretch. Pull those abdominal muscles up like you're trying to press them up to the ceiling. Release into the table, breathing as you move, swaying into the cow, lifting up your head, arching your belly toward the mat. Breathe back to the table. One more complete rotation, up to the cat, back to the table, sway into the cow, come to center, which is the table. Move your hands and feet to the edges of the width of your mat, and press yourselves up to a seated position. I mean, press yourselves up to the downward dog from a seated position. And begin to press your hips back so you feel more length in your spine and your head is hanging between the arms. Notice and breathe. Shake your head gently as if you're saying yes. Walk your hands and feet together now, forward bend. Head is still hanging, knees are soft, slightly bent. Tucking the chin now, lengthen the legs and roll up, bone by bone, coming up to the mountain. Notice the blood flowing to your heart. Roll back the shoulders, sweep your arms up to the extended mountain and lift up. Soften here, fold your hands, turn your palms up toward the ceiling. Soften here, bring your arms down, bring them behind your back, fold your hands, and lift your arms a little bit away. Keep the knees a little soft. We don't lock our knees. We don't lock any of our joints. So right now, focus on the scapula and just counteracting the forward stance that we often use in our daily life. So we do spend a lot of time folding forward or bending forward or just looking at our electronic devices. Release that. Forward bend. Elbows in, softly to the waist, hands are soft. Bend the knees and sit way back. So the knees are above the feet and your behind is behind you as you fold in half and touch the mat and hang out. Shake your head gently, nodding as if you're saying yes. And tucking the chin, roll up, one beautiful bone at a time. Coming up slowly. Head comes up. Shoulders roll back. Sweep up your arms. Lift up. Lift up the toes. Widen the fingers. Release the toes. Gently arch your back and look up. This is the last neck warm up. We're looking up, which is a way that our necks don't often move. And so we need to be a little warmed up before we do this one, which we've done. We are safe. Bring up your head. Release the arms. Forward bend, elbows in. Focus on your posture in the mountain. And the mountain is simply standing tall. Sit way back, knees above the feet, fold in half, hang out. Lengthen the legs a little if you want to, if it feels right, and feel the sacrum opening up. Hanging out here as blood flows to your brain. Tucking the chin now. Tuck the chin, tuck the belly, everything's tucked in as you roll up slowly. Bone by bone. Head comes up. Shoulders roll back. Sweep up your arms. Lift up toward the ceiling, lift up the toes. Release the toes, soften here, arch your back and look up. Bring up your head and release. Shoulders roll back. Forward bend, elbows in. Bend the knees and sit way back. Bend the knees some more and touch the mat, hang out. And then begin to lengthen the legs. Notice the head. You want it to be hanging with no control with the neck. because the head weighs about 10 pounds on average. And the neck is one of the more delicate parts of our body. And so whenever we can rest our head, it gives our neck a break. A lot of us hold our tension in the neck and shoulders, and this is a release for that. Tucking the chin now, pull in the TVA muscles, rolling up bone by bone, coming up nice and slow as the blood flows to your heart and your shoulders roll back. So the TVA muscles are these muscles right below your navel. They run horizontally across your body. And this is what we mean in fitness when we say core strength. These are the muscles that protect our lower back. And so we're very mindful of keeping these muscles strong. Like my choir teacher, she used to come up to us because we were doing, this is high school. I can even remember that far back. She would, and I mean, this woman put fear in our hearts that she was going to come up and punch us in the diaphragm. Because if we weren't doing the diaphragmatic breath, this area was loose. And I mean, and she would haul, she'd get right in there. She was a little lady, but we were all in fear of her because she was a great teacher, but she demanded the best we could do. And so these are the muscles, diaphragmatic breath, that need to be strong in this area as we do just about everything, not only singing, but lifting, protecting the low back, climbing stairs. Most anything we do needs core strength. Let's do one more forward bend. Elbows in. Sit way back. Bend the knees, fold in half, hang out. Shake your head yes. This time, grab your elbows and sway gently from side to side. Coming back to center, release the arms, roll up, tucking the chin, helps alleviate any dizziness you might have, lightheadedness. As you come up, lengthen, roll back the shoulders and fold your hands behind you and come into flat back for humble warrior. So your fists, your hands are up now toward the ceiling and you are in humble warrior. Let your head hang. Feel the sacrum opening up a little. Come back up. Slower is better. Shoulders roll back. I'm going to face you now. You've seen my posture. You've felt your own posture. Now we are in the mountain. Nice and tall, feet forward. Just sway from here, side to side. Feel the stability in your mountain. Feel the groundedness, the balance as you sway gently side to side. Coming back to center. Soften the knees. Put your hands on your waist and softly twist to one side, looking over that shoulder, feeling this rotation in the waist and the spine, the neck and the shoulders all working together. Come back to center. To the left or to the other side. Rotate in the other direction. Hold it and breathe into the rotation. Come back to center. Twist the other way. Come back to center. One more time in the other direction. looking over that shoulder, holding and breathing, feeling good. Come back to center. Release the arms and gently release again by swaying from side to side. So what we do in this practice is tense and release. We are in tension, and you know what that feels like, and then we release. It's difficult in our lives, but not impossible and very beneficial to remember when we had enough of any one type of repetitive motion. So we need to take a rest from that, do something else. Our minds need a rest. We need enough sleep. Recommended is an average of 8 hours. Maybe you only need 7. Maybe you need 9. Find that out and honor that. Sleep is important. Bring your arms up. Lift up, soften, and sway from side to side, warming up the obliques. Nice, gentle swaying like a tree that bends in the wind and doesn't break. You can be that tree, bending in the circumstances that confront you and not breaking. Come up to the top, lengthen, soften, and lean into crescent moon. The upper arm needs to be where the shoulder feels good. The other arm is down the side of that leg. So if your shoulder does not want to be up here, you can put it on your waist or behind your back or across your chest. So whatever you choose, and let's come back up, lengthen at center, soften and release in the other direction, crescent moon on both sides. So we always do the bilateral moves on both sides. We always do the front to back moves on both sides. We do the up and down moves in both directions. Hold it here. Feel the length in the oblique muscles and the softening that you're leaning into. Come back up. Lift up. Remember the shoulders, you have options. Lean into crescent moon. Life is just full of choices, isn't it? Hold it and breathe. Come back up. Lengthen at center. Soften again. Lean the other way. Feeling good. Come all the way back up. Lift up. Soften and release. And let's step out into tripod. One leg, 2 legs. The third leg of the tripod is both hands together. Bend your knees and put those hands in front of you on the mat and let your head hang between your arms. Again, releasing so the neck doesn't do too much work. Walk both hands to the right foot, left hand on the mat, right arm up in the air, look up, look down, right arm down, walk back to center, both hands to the left foot, right hand on the mat, left arm up in the air, look up, look down, left arm down, walk back to center, both hands to the right foot, left hand on the mat, right arm up in the air, look up, look down, right arm down, walk back to center. Last time to the left foot, right hand on the mat, left arm up in the air, look up, look down, left arm down, walk back to center and roll it up, bone by bone, coming up slowly. Step together into your mountain Let's just release and rotate nice and slow, feeling good, coming to center, rolling our shoulders, and let's sit down, everybody. I'm going to turn to the side. You can be in staff pose looking at the screen. Sit tall, pull that fleshy part back. Bend one knee, bring that leg up. Both hands behind the knee as you massage one side of your body, the side that the bent knee is able to massage the bent leg. This is just a little body on body, gentle pressure. And then put that foot on the outside of the extended knee. Bring that arm to the inside of that leg and bring the other arm behind you on the mat. So now you're in the pose. We'll begin to work it as we turn behind us. We turn our neck toward the posterior shoulder and point the extended foot. And then begin to experiment slowly with arching your back a little, lifting your chin, moving with the intention of going up to your edge and staying there, and then releasing just below it, just below your edge, so that you can stay in this pose and hold it. And breathe. Check the pointed foot. Check the arch in your back. We don't want to be slumping here. And this is a spinal rotation, great for opening up the organs. And so we do need to make space. We don't want to bend in and crunch up things inside when they'd rather have a little bit of space to do their work. Soften here, soften in place, move around just a little, and see if your body leads you to a better spot to turn in. And then begin to turn toward the back, toward the posterior. Point the forward foot, arch your back, lift your chin, find your spot, your sweet spot, wherever that is. And as we practice together, you will find those places very quickly because your body will remember. Every cell has a memory, and we're training our bodies to remember good posture, good positioning, mindful movement, centering balance, all of those things that we need pretty much to stay upright in life. Release, breathe back to center, uncross, check your seat, and then fold forward, seated forward bend. Your hands go toward the knees, your hands go toward the feet, and your head goes toward the knees as you hang out softly like a rag doll on top of your legs. And then roll up, bone by bone, coming into posture, rolling back the shoulders, hands behind your hips. Let's do a little weightlifting with the weight of our own bodies. So you have it all. You have everything you need to take good care of your body, and all you need is a mat. And you really don't even need that, but we like these sticky mats because when we extend our feet, these sticky mats hold us in place. So mats are useful, but I've done yoga on carpeting, and I'm just a little bit more careful. Some of my students like to wear socks, and they need to be a little bit more careful because the socks could be slippery. So all you need is yourself, relaxing clothing that you can move in, maybe loose clothing, maybe just flexible clothing like spandex. All right, so let's just lift up our hips. You only have to go this far, but if you want to extend it, you can point your feet and make a plank of your body. And then if you'd like to, you can arch your back and let your head come back behind you in an upward facing plank. Slowly come down, being careful of the head, careful of the neck. And I'm going to turn to the other side, and we're going to do the other side of the spinal twist. So come into stack pose again, pull back that fleshy part, roll back your shoulders, and bend the opposite knee, bring it up. Both hands behind the knee prevents overflexion of the knee joint. And massage that side of your body with the top of your leg, giving the internal organs and systems just a gentle little massage here. And then put that foot on the outside of the extended leg. Bring that arm to the inside of the bent knee, and the other arm goes behind you, and you are in the pose. Point the foot, twist from the waist, looking over the posterior shoulder. Arch your back and lift your chin. Find your edge. Squeeze the abs. And then back off just a little. You're in the pose now. You've gone to your extension. You've gone to your neck range of motion. And now just back off a little and find that sweet spot just below it. And hold it there. So we're saving energy as we're using energy to keep our bodies strong, keep our strength up, keep our endurance up, keep our balance, our mobility, our stability, keeping all those things at least maintaining and maybe even improving where we are in our bodies, in our minds, and our spirits. It's a job. It takes practice. Release a little bit, stay in the pose, see if your body tells you someplace else to go, and then return to the flex. Looking over the posterior shoulder, arch your back, lift your chin, find your place, and settle in. Release, come slowly to center. When we release these twists, we want to release them just as slowly as we went into them. Find your seat, forward fold, hands toward the feet, head toward the knees, just rest. Let the top of your body be like a rag doll. Tucking the chin now, roll up, pull in the belly, hands behind the hips, and we're going to weight lift again. Same thing we did just a moment ago. Test it. Do you only want to be here? Do you want to point the feet and make your body more of a plank, tucking your chin? Or do you want to go all the way up and let your head come back behind you as you arch your back? Your choice. Come back up, being careful of the head and the neck. Come down. Bend the knees now for the bridge pose. Roll down nice and slow. So your head comes to the mat, arms are by your sides, roll back your shoulders. Feet are in front of the knees, not that far, but they are in front of the knees. And then test this by lifting up your pelvis, your hips, your glutes, and make sure there's no pressure on your neck. And if there isn't, then you can roll up to your bridge. Weight is on the shoulders, never the neck. So you're in the pose now. If you're not sure you're at your best extension, arch your back, squeeze your hips, and release around that so that you don't sag, but you settle into that sweet spot. Hold this. Knees are not touching, feet are forward of the knees. You are still in alignment, even though we're in the bridge. Slowly come down, vertebrae by vertebrae. And as your back touches the mat, rock your pelvis forward and back. Just releasing and relaxing here. Getting ready for another bridge. Coming to center, check your shoulders, check your feet, that's where the weight is. And pelvic tilt up so that you're on the shoulders and there's a line between your knees and your shoulders, like a plank line. And then settle in. If you're not sure, remember you can arch and squeeze and then release around that, using only the energy you need for everything you do, reserving your energy for the rest of the things you need to do or want to do. Slowly roll down, vertebrae by vertebrae, and gently release, rocking the low core forward and back. There's an option here of contracting your abdominal muscles, the TVA muscles that run across your body, right below the navel. You can crunch those as you tilt your pelvis up, and thereby helping those muscles to gain a little bit more tone, and then release away. Come in, come out, rocking, and settle back. Check your shoulders and roll up into another bridge. Pelvic tilt, roll it up, find your place. Breathing and holding, noticing. Roll down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Bring up both knees, one hand behind each knee, and roll on your back, releasing from the bridges that we just did. Tense and release is what we're doing. It's a good thing. And let's roll on to one side, using your elbow and the other hand to press yourself up to a seated position safely. And let's come back to our hands and knees for the sunbird. So again, the tabletop is stable, a grounding pose. It's the center. So your arms are straight down from the shoulders, knees are straight down from the hips. Slide one leg back. You can leave the leg there, or you can lift it up to parallel. Hands can stay on the mat, or you can extend the opposite arm. Hold it, notice the length and the alignment between the fingertips and the toes and the spine. Your neck is in line with your spine. You're looking at your mat. Hold it. Breathe into the supporting arm. Come back to the table. Find your center. Take a moment. Slide the other leg back. Again, the leg can stay on the floor, or you can lift it up to parallel. And then if you're doing the arm part, extend the opposite arm and hold it here. Find your alignment. Look at one of those little squares on your mat. Come back to the table. Press up to downward facing dog. Push it up. Find your place and gently pedal. Walk the dog, alternating bending one knee and then the other. Feeling good and noticing. Settle back into the downward dog. Press the hips back. Let your head hang between your arms. Come down again to your hands and knees and stretch out into Sphinx pose. So you're on your forearms and then let your body come down to the mat. Point the feet, keeping the knees on the floor, lift up the feet, and then begin to focus on arching your back as you look straight ahead. Make space between the ears and the shoulders. Lift up your lips in a smile that's only for you. Slowly come down. Rest your head on your hands, looking first in one direction like this. Just melt. Let everything melt. And then lift up your head and turn your head in the opposite direction. Melt again. Come back up and press up again into Sphinx. So the weight is on the forearms and the hands. Knees are on the mat. You're looking straight ahead, and it's optional to lift up the feet. You get a little bit more back arch. Hold it and breathe and smile. So you all have an image of what the Sphinx looks like, those Egyptian statues. And they've been used as target practice in certain wars where people just needed to shoot their guns. And whenever I ask people to smile in this pose, I always think about faces I might have been making to my mother while I was. And she'd say to me, I hope your face doesn't freeze like that. Which always makes me smile now when I think about it. But I think about those Sphinx. They have no choice. Their face is frozen in that bullet hole grimace that they're in. Come down slowly. Rest your head on your hands, looking first in one direction. Let go. Melt. So this is a skill, everyone. Letting go. It's like a mini power nap. In between poses, learn to let go quickly, because it's not going to be a really long time. Bring up your head now and turn your head in the opposite direction. Still working on neck range of motion, but relaxing. Come back up and bring your elbows back toward your body, and your hands are right next to your shoulders here. Lift up your arms and lift up your legs and arch your back. So you're lifting up the front and the back of your body, the top and the bottom. In what we used to call this Superman, and we put our arms out in front of us. And in yoga, we called it canoe. But we found out that it was when we put our arms straight out, it was difficult, or well, it was hard on the neck. And so now we do it like this. You still get the benefits of holding up the weight of your body in the back arch. But you're not like Clark Kent with your arms straight out and the wind blowing your cape behind you. Come back down. Press up to the table and sit down. Roll it down nice and slow. And bring up one leg up in the air. Shoulders are taking the weight as you point and slowly lower that leg, moving from the core. And then when you get almost to the floor, flex your foot and bring it up. Keep going at your own pace now, pointing down, using the core, engage that belly, and flexing up, but moving as slowly as you can in both directions. So this is slow motion, exerting in both directions. So you're breathing in both directions. Continuing to let that blood flow into your veins and into every part of your body. Everything working together. One more complete rotation, flexing up, pointing down. And the next time you come to the mat, release and melt. Let everything go. Nice breath. Anytime you feel like a longer, slower, deeper breath would benefit you, for example, if you're feeling off balance and you need to calm yourself down or soothe yourself, put your lips together and take a nice, long, slow breath. Think about peace, about balance, or something else that sustains you. Let's bend the other knee and bring that leg up toward the ceiling and do the same thing on this side. Point and slowly lower, slow motion. And as you get almost to the mat, flex the foot and bring it back up just as slowly, using the core. Yoga is all about spinal strength, which is core strength, muscle strength. It's about balance in the entire body. It's about becoming more stable, more mobile, more mindful, more intentional about our lives in general. So our bodies house our spirits and our minds. And in order for everything to work well together, we need to make a conscious effort to encourage that healing, that balance in spirit, mind, and body. The next time you come close to the floor, release the leg. Let everything melt. Let yourself just relax and melt. Take a long, slow breath. If it helps you to think of it as a 4-part breath, that means inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and pause for 4. So it's by your count. So you take in oxygen, hold it, release the knees now, bring the legs up close to your chest, one hand behind each knee, and roll on your back. Knees in close, arms out into airplane for what I call my signature move. Lower both legs to the right, all the way to the floor, so the hips and spine follow. Turn your head to the left, and the left palm rolls up. Right palm is on the mat. You are letting go. Soften and breathe. Continue to release. This is a deep rotation, very healing. I like to think that we're all using it for prevention, preventing our spines from injury, but it's also excellent for remediation. If anything is a little bit out of place, this is the pose that can bring it back to center. It's a variation of a pose that doctors of DOs, whatever, I can't remember now what that means. Doctors of osteopathy, I think it is, that they will use because they know how to manipulate the body to articulate it back into place. So you can imagine someone's hands, knowledgeable, healing hands, pressing on parts of your body and bringing them gently back into alignment, non-invasively. Slowly now, one leg at a time, bring up your legs. And when you get on your back, bring in the arms, one hand behind each knee, and begin to roll on your back a little bit more vigorously, staying in control, but being mindful to encompass as much of your spine as you can. So when your knees are up, you can get to the tailbone. And when you lift up, come to center, lift up your legs and grab your feet in happy baby, then you can get more of this thoracic spine. So it's good to do a little bit of both when you're releasing from the spinal rotation. And then bring the knees in close, arms out into airplane, legs to the left, all the way to the mat, head to the right. Extend the right arm, rolling that palm up. Left palm is down. You are in the pose. Allow it to work. This pose has tension, but just enough. And so if you don't think you got into this pose or any pose correctly, then come out and come back in. That is always a good option. Release a little more. This is a pose that I would advocate staying in much longer if it works for you in your own practice. In fact, any pose, if you feel real benefits right away from any certain pose for what your needs are, then do those in your practice. This is one that a lot of people that I know use quite often. It's many people's favorite pose, including Deborah's. And I have to say, really, it's probably one of my favorites as well. Well, I know it's one of my favorites. It's just hard to pick just one, isn't it? Slowly now, one leg at a time, bring up the legs, bring in the arms, and roll on your back. A little bit more intentionally vigorous, but not so much that you're out of control. Side to side, circular motion, going clear down to the tailbone. And then lift the legs up in the air, grab your feet, happy baby, and roll a little bit more. Feeling wonderful and noticing. And then stretch out into rest pose. Bring both arms up overhead behind you on the mat. Press through the fingers and the toes. Lengthen. Soften. And then bring your arms back next to your sides and go into your favorite rest pose. Whatever works for you right now. So maybe it's this, supine, looking up toward the ceiling. Maybe it's reclining cobbler with the soles of your feet together. Or perhaps you're noticing something in the lumbar spine. In that case, put your feet at the edges of the width of your mat. Widen your feet and let your knees, and bend the knees, and then let your knees fall together so you're not holding up the weight of your legs. And begin to breathe slower and deeper, relaxing your body. This is the integration of everything we've done together in this session. It's called Shavasana. It's the icing on the yogic cake. It's the time when we let our bodies and our spirits and our minds, our brains, our breath, and our bodies come together as one. And we are gaining balance. I'm going to tell you another stress-relieving guided meditation. While you rest and breathe, just listen. Let my words fall over you. There's no magic to this. It's just letting someone, as if I'm reading to you, how soothing that is when people read out loud to us. So now I'm going to take you to the beach, to the shores of Lake Michigan, on a calm day, and you're walking barefooted. Your feet are getting smoothed out by the grains of white sand along the lake, and the waves are lapping gently, and the water is exactly the same as the air right now. And so the water and the air are warm and feel really good. And you wade in up to your knees, and you let the water lap up over your knees a little bit. And keep walking, using the resistance of the water to test your balance. And as you walk, you're aware that you are all alone, but you feel very safe because you're really not alone. You have many kindred spirits praying for you, energizing, sending their good energy your way. And you have your own sweet spirit that recognizes all those other sweet spirits. And so you keep walking, feeling happy, feeling relaxed, feeling safe. And just the act of walking in nature makes you feel better. Just the act of being in between the land and the water, in between the earth and the sky. Imagine a sun setting over Lake Michigan, coming down bright yellow, closer to the water's edge, turning orange as it reaches even closer, beginning to send out pink rays as it sets close to the horizon. Maybe the water is blue and you see linear colors of teal and blue and gray, all being reflected in the setting sun. And when the sun gets really close and sends its own reflection across the water, all the little ripples sparkle like diamonds. And you know you are one with the earth, the sea, the sky, the water, all yours as you walk along the shores of Michigan's greatest natural resource, Lake Michigan. I will invite you now to stay in Shavasana as we close, bringing our hands together in prayer pose, letting your thumbs rest against the center of your chest, allowing your arms to rest against your ribs. As we say together, Namaste, and make it a healthy day. Thank you for being here. On behalf of Deborah Basham and myself, Kathy Zerler, and also Happy Baby, who made a little appearance earlier today, make it a happy, healthy day. Make it a happy, healthy day. Take good care. Namaste.